Well, guys, what I'm talking about today is foxes. Foxes. The old fox, the old red fox. Got them in England. I'm in Australia. Got foxes in Australia. Not in Tasmania, apparently, but they've got them in Australia mainland. They've got them everywhere you can think of. They've got them in England. They've got them in the USA. They've got them all over Europe. And they've got them in Australia, but not Tasmania down the bottom. Okay, foxes love chooks. KFC's got it right. Chicken tastes good. Old Colonel was onto something. People like eating chicken. Well, so do the foxes, and the foxes love chicken. And the foxes got to survive. And if you eat some mice and little birds around the hedges and the bush and the stuff he eats, some little rabbits if he catches them. Rabbits a big job for a fox, but they will get them. And you've got chickens, the fox will come for the chickens. Now, a fox over generations since ever has been eating domesticated chickens. He is trained. He is the expert of how to get humans chickens. He will outsmart the smartest hunter, a cunning fox, an older fox. New foxes, the young ones, are uneducated. They're like teenagers. They don't have a clue what's going on. But the old fox has dodged a bullet, missed a trap, lost a few toes in the rabbit trap, in the fox trap. He's cunning. He's cunning as hell, and you have to be really smart to catch him. And you won't. I say you only can get him by luck. You won't outsmart him. You can get him by luck. You'll catch him when he's not expecting you to catch him. So trying to kill a fox or remove him or trap him and remove him, which is just a bit crazy, basically kill the fox because he'll just keep coming back. Trying to kill the fox is almost impossible. His tactics are, generally, everybody will have an exception to the rule, but the rule is the fox will come and eat your chickens, mainly just one or two, mainly just one actually. He'll eat your chickens, grab it, take it down, run into the scrub somewhere, and then kill it, and then run off back to the den and eat it. Or give it to his babies, because that's a lot of the time they're forced into it because they got young foxes they got to feed, and they need a lot of input of meat, So he'll take it back. But he won't come back to that chook house for about 2 or 3 weeks because he knows the humans are going to be waiting for him with a gun or some sort of device to get him. He won't come back for about 2 or 3 weeks, and that's about the time period that humans forget about it and get a bit slack. That's why people don't shut their chicken coops up properly sometimes. They got a beautiful chicken coop, it's like a fortress, but for some reason they'll forget to lock it. And guess what? The fox will come and do the rounds every night. He'll look at it from a distance, and he'll look at it and he'll calculate, say, that door's open. And then he'll look at a few other things to make sure it's not a trap. When he goes in, it's got shut behind him. He'll work it out really well to come back and get another chicken. Guinea fowls, peacocks, birds like that nest on the ground but roost up in the trees. When they roost up in the trees, they're safe. But when they nest, they've got to nest on the ground. And when they nest on the ground, that's when the fox will come and get them. He's very, very cunning like that. And poor old guinea fowls and peacocks and birds like that nest on the ground are just fair game for the foxes if they don't nest inside a coop, which guinea fowls and peacocks really don't sort of do. Anyway, it's about the fox. So what do? You've got to have a good cage. You've got to have a good chook's house. In Australia, we call them chooks, hens, chicken. We call them chooks. I don't know if that's universal around the world, but I don't think it is. But anyway, we call them chooks. It seems to fit well, and they look, you call the chooks for food. Chook, 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 chook. Anyway, look, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how to make your chicken house fox-proof. And there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Now, someone once told me when I was a little kid, they said, think of a fox as a cat. If a cat can climb up and will get here and there and that, a fox can do exactly the same thing. And foxes are very comfortable on roofs of houses. You see them, if you're looking, quite often in semi-rural and built-up areas. They like to use the roofs of the houses to get around and to do stuff. So they're quite happy climbing, they climb really well. So you've got to have a roof. You've got to have a roof over the top of your chook house. Wire netting, it's all wire netting. Heavier wire netting. The light wire netting is sort of okay, but foxes can chew through the wire netting. It does happen. It's not usual, but it does happen. I've seen it. They'll chew through the wire netting to get in. But you have a cage of wire netting clipped all around with the netting clips, and a good door, a proper door, not some haphazard thing that something can chew through. If you've got a crack like that, the fox will make it a little bit bigger and he'll get through. It's got to be a good door, coated with wire netting, you know, but the frame's got to be solid, and the frame's door has got to fit solidly into the frame with reasonable sorts of hinges and a reasonable snib. A hook and eye even, or something like that. But not springy and flexible that the fox can wiggle in under. Now the door at the bottom, the fox will dig under the door. He'll dig a hole under. So you've got to have, what you do, I see a lot of people saying who don't really know, and it's a theory thing, you've got to bury the wire netting in the ground by a foot and a half at the sides. That's a theory. That's people who have got theory. Because you dig a trench right around your chook house to bury the netting in, yes, that will work. That's a good idea. But you've got to dig that bloody trench. That's hard work. You don't have to dig the trench. This is what I'm saying. You don't dig a trench. You bring your wire netting down on the outside of your chook house, and then you lay it on the ground outwards for about a foot and a half, whatever that is in metric, you know, about length of your arm, you know, that far. You lay it on the ground outside the chook house, and then you put some stones or boards or things on it. You don't put the boards on the outside leading edge of the netting, or else the fox will see that and he'll dig under that board. You put it on the inside of a corner, and then the fox is deceived. He comes in and tries to dig down. How we do it this way. Say that's the wall of a chook house and that's the netting on the ground. He'll walk over the netting and try to dig down there where you got all that netting. He won't be able to get in. And you don't have to dig a trench and bury the wire netting in the trench, which is just hard work. And in a couple of weeks, the grass will grow up around and over the netting, and it'll just be there under the grass, and you can mow over it and do all those sorts of things that you need to do. But you've got to have that netting under the door as well, everywhere, so you'll get in. The other thing, you've got to just lock it every night, religiously lock your hen house every night. Now, here's the modern version that they didn't have in the old days. The situation I had, I was in a fox-populated area, and the foxes were everywhere, you know. And I had a chook house, a hen house, a chicken house, and it was all right. But what I discovered, you know, the little garden lights you get, that just got a spike on the bottom, you stick them in the ground, and they're charged by the solar, and they come on. I had a few of those laying around that they got broken by the mower or whatever, and I just got the light part, and I stuck them in the netting on the top of the chook's house, top of the hen's house, just sit around the netting, just 2 or 3 of them, not very bright, really low light, but I put them up there, and then, because I'm human, there was times I didn't lock the hen's house. You didn't lock it, I left the door open. I was a bit slack. Had a lot of hens, and they roamed around all day around the farm and that sort of stuff. Well, guess what? I didn't lock the doors, and then another couple of nights I didn't lock the doors. Eventually, I never locked the doors again, because I'd worked out the foxes avoided that light above the hen house. The door was wide open, the chooks are all sitting there. They could see the chooks because the chooks had rails across. You could see them through the netting, but they had the lights on. The foxes never, ever, ever, I'm talking about over 20 years, never, ever came in to the hen house. But they did get the chooks who decided they wanted to sleep outside by about 6 foot away, outside the hen house, and decided to sleep out there. The fox would have them, but they wouldn't have the ones in the hen house. I don't know why, they just had some sort of aversion. I've never worked out why, but they had an aversion to that light, particular light above the hen house. So anyway, I just tried to share my experience. Like, it's not like I bought some chooks and I've read some books, bought some chooks and read some books. No, I've had hens for 40 years, and in a rural setting, massively surrounded by foxes. And this is my experience about how to stop the foxes eating your chooks. Yeah, now guinea fowls and peacocks, I haven't got a solution for that. When they nest outside somewhere, they go away and nest in a hidden spot, and the fox just gets them. I've got no answer for that one. But hens and hen houses. Okay, now hen house is number 2. When you build a hen house, people say, oh, the floors gets messy, the floor gets a bit wet, the floor gets When you build the hen house and you put the roof on it, and you've more or less got to have a roof, you've got to be completely covered. If you've got an open area, but you can say, oh, if I get out there, scratch around, it's going to turn into a mud pit, you know. So you cover the whole lot, but put eaves on it. Extend the roof out by, 3 foot, a metre, at least. And then the side rain won't come in. If you just put the roof across to the edge of the walls, as people tend to do, the side rain will come in through the side netting and wet all the hay and wet all the dirt, and the chooks are scratching around. It turns into a horrible mess. But if you've got it completely covered, and eaves on it coming out around, sticking out, extended by a metre, you won't have that problem of the water turning into a mud pile in the bottom. You have nice dry straw where they can scratch around in and do their chook stuff. Now the old people from experience, just watching what the old farmers done when I was a kid, when I was a child, the old farmers and the old ladies, there's always the ladies that tended to look after the hens in the old days in the farms, they would let their chooks out for about an hour or two in the evening, and they'd go and scratch around, do their stuff, and then they'd come back inside and they'd give them a bit of food in the hen house, and all the chooks would come home into the hen house, get their bit of evening food, and that was it. The rest of the day, the next morning until next afternoon, they'd sit around the hen house, and they'd lay the eggs in the hen house, because that's another problem. If you let them roam, they'll lay eggs all over the place. They make nests all around the yard. You'll never find them all around the paddocks. You only find them afterwards when you lift up a piece of iron and there's this huge chook's nest full of eggs. All rotten. But anyway, that to me seems like good practice. If you let your hens out for a run, an hour or 2 hours in the evening, they can pick the green grass, eat some grub, scratch in the dirt and do all that healthy stuff, and then they'll come back inside for their evening feed, and all good, and lock the door. It's just a habit. Lock the door and you're right, Chickens, hens and chickens. Another important point, hens and chickens. The hen will sit on a nest in your hen house, hopefully, and her chickens will hatch out. Now you've got to have a nest on the ground so that when the chickens hatch out, they don't all hatch out at once. The ones that hatch out will go out in a day or two. They'll go out and start scratching. If they can't get back up into the nest, the mother hen will abandon the other eggs and stay with the live chickens on the ground. So if you've got them up that high, say, in a nest, which people just do, they get a box or something, and the chickens jump out and they can't get back in, the mother will leave the other eggs and go with those chickens. If it's on the ground level, the chickens can come back and get under the mum, and the mum will sit on for longer and hatch out a lot more eggs. So that's another hint. Now, a third hint, which causes a lot of tears, especially if you've got children, or even yourself, even me, if you see a chicken dead, because of your carelessness, because you didn't know. Listen to this. You get your bowl with your water, a tray like a meat tray or a baking tray, or whatever you've got. Not a bucket, of course, because the chickens can't get up into it. The chickens need the water. So you have some sort of shallow dish, 2 inches thick, bottom of a 20-litre plastic oil drum is what a lot of people would use. One is they'll tip over when the chook stands on the edge of it and all the water will go out. What you do is that you put stones in it, size of a cricket ball, a baseball. You put a lot of stones in it with the water. That allows the chickens to jump up, stand on the stones, drink the water down between the cracks, not gravel, rocks, stones. Drink the water between the cracks and the chicken can climb out. A lot of people put a bowl in, first timers put a bowl in, the chicken jumps in to get the water and it drowns. It can't get out. It's just in the water. Chickens aren't made to swim. They can't get out. Even baby ducks, this is a good thing for them too, because when they're fluffy and young, they can drown actually, It doesn't sound right, but they can drown too. You see them swimming around, little fluffy ducks in ponds and things. But no, they can drown in the water too. So you've got to have a lot of stones in there, stops them tipping over, allows the chickens to climb on it, have a drink, and get out without drowning. So there's couple of clues about chooks. Another thing about chooks, this one might bring a lot of rocks down on my head from people who are experts, but experience has told me that if your chooks are getting out and eating grass and have access to a lot of grass and grubs and all the little things they scratch around and do, they do not need pellets. They do not need pellets, just normal wheat or grain. That's what they normally eat in nature, a bit of grass and a bit of grain. That'll give them all the minerals and things necessary for a healthy, happy chook. Oh, and if you're feeding chooks, another thing, chooks are carnivores. If you've got kitchen scraps and you've got meat, remains, chopped bones, chicken carcasses. Back in the place where I was, there was a lot of rabbits, and you get rabbit remains. Yeah, I used to sell rabbits and stuff like that, and you get some rabbits that are shot, and you cut them in half, and just the other half it's not suitable for sale because they've been shot through the chest or something instead of a headshot. You can chuck them into the chickens. They'll eat them up, no worries at all. The chickens are carnivores. They're baby dinosaurs. They'll eat meat. And another thing was, when I used to give them a bit of rabbit, or a bit of meat, they would they'd start laying like beauties. They'd lay beautiful eggs if you give them meat. Now, laws, government laws, regulations, can't feed pigs swill. I don't know anything about that. I'm just talking about nature, what works and what doesn't work. I don't know anything about the laws of the land that you happen to be living in. So anyway, chooks are great value, great fun. And there's an old bloke told me once, he said, where you got live, it was about cows. He said, wherever you got live ones, you'll have dead ones. So don't get too cut up when the fox comes in and kills your chooks. That's nature. When you got live things looking after them, you'll have dead ones. That's a part of the deal. Okay, all you guys on the acreages out there getting into animals, maybe you didn't grow up on the farm, so you don't know all this stuff that other people assume you know. Everybody assumes everybody knows what they know, so I'm just sharing some of my experience, a lot of little trivia stuff. Anyway, catch you guys, have a good one, enjoy your chickens. Chickens are great value. Especially if you've got kids. Something cute, no matter how cynical and hard you are, there's something cute about the little chickens that hatch out and start squeaking around the farm. Okay, see you guys, have a good one. Bye.